If it looked like it was buffering, it's because I was trying to share the link. I'm going to continue reading this from a little bit ago. I was reading this. I was actually live on X just a minute ago. And every time I went live over there today, nobody's really watched, so. But people, X ain't set up for streaming too well, so. And I'm not using StreamYard right now, so sue me. I'm not really sure how long I'll be on here even. I'm just flowing through the day with, I do have some nervous energy, a little bit of anxiousness, but that's from where I'm just feeling better. I had a couple of days where yesterday wasn't so bad. I had to take it really slow. And I didn't do anything. The day before, I did stream that morning with some people. And then I streamed myself on my channel later that day with Tomcat. But that's the day I got sick twice. And that's draining. And I know I was sick, for my own asinine reasons. So where you're seeing sin and disease, they're actually the presence of God is. But through finite sense, you're seeing it incorrectly. Let the Christ, that is, the spiritual awareness, interpret the snake and the rope, and it will say to you that is not a snake, that is a rope. It will not remove a snake. It will not cure a snake or gallstones either. It will not heal cancer or consumption. It will interpret this spiritual scene to you and say to you, stop your worrying, stop your fearing. God is all that there is, and that very thing that you are trying so hard to get rid of and overcome is not there. Right. The snake ain't there. I'm thinking that I have a problem. I'm seeing it as a problem. And therefore it continues to keep being a problem. It's only when I take myself out of that idea, I guess. The whole purpose of the use of the letter of truth is to develop spiritual consciousness. How do you know when you have achieved spiritual consciousness? Only when you can look at a rope and see a rope, when you can look at any and every person and see the Christ instead of seeing a sick or sinning human being. When you can do this, you will know that your Christ self is taking over the personal self. When you can look at a person without envy, jealousy, malice, lust, hate, greed, or revenge, you have developed spiritual consciousness. Because you know then that person is the Christ, that you are the Christ, and that both of you are the fullness of the Godhead bodily. When you know that you have the Christ vision or the Holy Ghost, you can look out on this world without fear and realize. Yeah, I think people probably, if you were to come in here and you only have a certain perceived perception and you're hearing me read this, you're probably not going to quite understand it. But I understand it. And I'm speaking from the Master Speaks. There's no power out there except the power that comes from God. All power is given unto me. Dominion was given to me in Genesis, and it is my fault if I have not carried it all the way from Genesis to Revelation. It is dominion over the things of the earth and the water and the skies and everything that is in the world. This dominion is mine by virtue of the realization that God is the only presence and the only power. God is the only creative principle. I hope I didn't run you off. Anybody that ever comes into one of my streams, if I happen to be reading something, all you have to do is chime in the chat. If whatever I'm doing is not very, if it's off course with whatever you would like to hear, or actually, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, but I'm saying if you ever come in and there's something I'm doing that's not quite entertaining, or if it's boring, or you just have a different idea or subject, something that needs to be said in the chat, you're welcome to bring whatever you want to up in the chat. The only reason I'm not using StreamYard at the moment is just, I don't, like, I'm saying, for me, I think StreamYard is only necessary if I think I am going to invite somebody in. And then, like, I don't want to get in the middle of using StreamYard with another person if I don't think if I don't know in depth. Like right now, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. And I guess it doesn't really matter. Like if another person wanted to come in and I was on StreamYard, it would be okay. I'm just saying I prefer, like the other day, at least when I went on, well, the day I went on with lockdown, we were on for a little over an hour. And then Tomcat the other day, we were on for like an hour and 10 minutes. I would have stayed on longer if I had not gotten sick. I didn't get sick on stream, but I knew I was feeling sick. And I told him, I need to get off of here because I'm not, like I was starting to feel a little woozy and, you know, so I ended the stream. Today I'm feeling great. You know, I'm sober. It's a nice day outside. And so I got the door open. I've done a little bit outside. I've done a little bit inside. Done a little reading. Doing a little reading now. Once you loose the condition and let it go through the understanding that even that which is appearing as your particular snake actually is the rope itself seen through finite sense, then begins the development of spiritual consciousness. Then you can loose everything in the world and find it literally true that all that the Father hath of harmony, peace, joy, power, and dominion is thine. And we'll put this book down for a minute, and I'm just going to wait and see who, like particularly, as you know, a lot of times I don't know. It's kind of strange how on the whatchamacallit, on the X app, I'm able to tell, like if somebody is actually viewing live right then, I can see who is viewing without them even commenting. Here on this, through this YouTube app, you don't know who's there unless someone comments. You just know someone's watching. For the most part over on X, most of the time I get a few, when I start a live, I'll get a few views, but all that means is someone in their feed saw it, looked at it long enough for it to count as a view. It doesn't mean they're actually watching the live stream, because when they're actually watching, it'll tell me you have, and I can click on it and it'll tell me who is actually watching in real time. So yeah, that's just kind of, I'm just kind of like flowing. There is things I could be doing right now around here probably. And y'all probably heard me say that a million times. There's always things I can be doing. But since my last few streams earlier, and then, like I said, I've gotten up and done some stuff. I changed the sheet on my bed. I got myself cleaned up. I still got the same shirt on and everything, but I changed my pants and all that kind of stuff, but I cleaned myself up. I feel better. It had been a few days. I needed to be clean. But I changed my sheets, or my bottom sheet anyway. So when I do choose to lay down, whether that be to sleep or just relax and watch something, I'll have clean sheets and I got a clean body, and I'll, you know. And then tonight when I do go to bed, and if I get to sleep, because a lot of times when I get back, like every time I have a bout, hey Peyton, thanks for saying hi. Now I know the chat's working. Hey, could y'all hit that like button for me if you... You know, I get annoyed that I even do that. And just as soon as I said that, somebody did that. So I appreciate it. Um, uh, yesterday, I figured out how I had to do this. This thing sometimes is clogged up, but what I found out is I can set, like I got that little heater in my room. I can set this up in front of the heater for about a minute or two, and it warms it up. And then when but it's not really stuck right now. I was trying to get it done. So I was wondering if I was going to have to go in there and do that. Hey, nature girl. How you doing? And then also Peyton said hi to me also. Well, called me Pops, you know. I kind of like that. I like some of the people that watch me that are a little bit younger, not kids, but you know, anywhere from you know, well, let's not talk about all that, but you get what I'm saying? There's a few people that are younger that do watch me, and they've told me, like, they either call me, some people call me Pops, like Peyton, or somebody calls me, there's a couple of people that are like, man, you're kind of like a dad, or you're like an uncle. Some of them ain't like real young, like there's, you know, I'm just saying some of the people that are like maybe still like in their later like teens up to 18 or even out of the like after 18, 19, 20, 21, any of that age range. There's several people from a certain range group that have told me from time to time that that's how they see me. Either as a grandpa, a dad, and I guess it would depend on your age. You know, like for instance, some of the people that say you're kind of like a dad to me, or I look, you know, they're in their 20s. Some of the people that are like, you're kind of like a grandpa. Well, they're like 15, 16, 17. So, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? But like me being 51, that would make sense. A 20-something-year-old would see me more. Like if I had grandchildren, I don't know how, like it would depend on when I had them, a child. But I imagine if I had grandchildren at this point and I'd had children early in life, my grandchildren would be probably in their teens, if not already in their 20s also. Well, maybe not their 20s. But my kids would be probably in their late 20s or early 30s, wouldn't they? I'm thinking so hard. The other day, well, yeah, well, I think you might, I don't know if you were one of them that day. Remember, there was a time we were having a good conversation, and Blee Blue, he's one of my moderators, you know, he shows up every once in a while. I believe he was saying he's 25, 26, 27, somewhere like that. He's usually at work when he finds us live. He'll be like listening. But I remember it was like him and everybody else in the chat. It was me, him, we're like the only two guys, and then you and like two or three other people were in the chat, but it was all females. Because he was like, well, Grey Cloud, you got, you know, and I was like, it ain't like that. And then he started talking about his age and shit. And if you, if you're curious to why I'm not really playing on I'm kind of going in between, like using my drumsticks a little and maybe like doing something else just because, I don't know. And so the other day we did like since last week I've tested StreamYard out a few times, and like a couple of days ago I did a stream on my channel, and then somebody came in, Tomcat's World. We've been, and then prior to that, last week Lockdown Productions showed up. I haven't really I haven't been doing lives as consistently over the past few days. Well, no, I did something the other day. Didn't do anything yesterday, but then before the other day, I kind of had a few days there where like I just wasn't feeling it. And I've told you guys in the videos and stuff a little bit. I've had a few down days. That's always because me and somebody was talking about this the other day. Sometimes we refer back to ways that we always did things, especially in certain situations. Say you get anxious or something's like really heavy on your brain, and then the way you dealt with it in the past was, like for me, a lot of times it's drinking or something. Well, if you let that happen, sometimes we know what is really not good. It's not in our best interest. But I know myself that at any given time, I'm still subject to choose to do it, whether I know that it's not the right thing for me. Because I'm never here trying to tell nobody else what to do. Now, like if somebody asked me for advice, I can offer advice. But, a lot of times people want advice. They say it. You give them advice and then they don't adhere to it. They don't pay attention to it. They don't really, what they say, they want advice. I think a lot of times people, when they ask advice, they're hoping you're going to give them advice that they want to hear. Like they already know what they're going to fucking do. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think I understand what you're saying. Like, for instance, I know myself, if I'm asking somebody for genuine advice, I want real advice, even if it's not what like if they give me advice and it's going against what I thought I wanted to do, there's a reason I asked that person that, to get their insight before I choose, because it's still going to ultimately be my choice. So I realize when people do ask me for advice that a lot of times it's the same way. Like, but I think the best advice I can give to somebody is, like if somebody wanted advice for life, I guess the best thing you could do, or I could say, is own every bit of it. Own your good times, own your bad times, own your positive days, own your negative days, own the bullshit, own the good stuff. You know what I mean? Like even when I falter and I'm having a few days where I'm not doing so well in my mind, I gotta keep, there's still breath in me, then I know that, okay, today I might have done something and I might not be in the best place in my head. But if I get through the day and I haven't, reverted back to how I used to react a few years ago, I used to tend to get so down that, want to do things that would be like not necessarily appropriate to your, want to be harmful to yourself, whether that's just your thoughts and talking to yourself, or even I know it all passes. And you probably heard me say in videos before, I like to tell people it all passes, because I remember hearing that in the 12-step, like in an AA meeting one time. Basically, the good days are going to go and the bad days are going to go. So, And I have to remind myself that even on the good days. Like right now, it's a pretty good, even flow for today. But I know this is going to pass too. It's the nature of being confined in this finite like space. Not to sound weird there, but we're like infinite beings in a finite timeline. Like the way we measure, you know what I'm saying? It's like, or at least that's what I know to be true for myself. But it's that, like in The Way of the Wizard, I always like how he put it in there. Like it's like 20 spiritual lessons to life. And Merlin, he talks about like we live within infinity. We're living in infinity right now, but we segment it. We take infinity and try to break it up as if it's like something we can. When infinity don't go from one end to the next. Infinity goes like that, like that. It's gonna keep it alpha omega. Thank you, nature girl. So like I learned that in The Way of the Wizard, and like for years I told people now, and anybody that's watching, don't take me wrong in this manner. But I used to tell people that, like, for me, for the longest, The Way of the Wizard, even though I have found in the past several years that the guy that, is supposedly the author, I've heard, like Deepak Chopra, from what I understand, is some of his shit's written by a ghostwriter. And I think that book could have been written maybe by a ghostwriter. I don't know. Really don't care because I like the message. But I've seen some like interviews with the dude, and like from years ago when I first started reading some of his books and thought that he was kind of cool, I have seen some shit where it's since told me, okay, I might like this book by him, but I really don't like his take on quite a few things. Like I've seen some interviews where he got a little, you get what I'm saying? But like just because someone... so in other words, just like I read everything else with a grain of salt, that's how I would approach when I tell somebody about that book. It helped me. I used to actually say that The Way of the Wizard, 20 Spiritual Lessons to Life, was more like my Bible than the Bible. Like it taught me more about life than Scripture had at that time. Like when I found the book in my life, it truly spoke to me in such a way that nothing else. It and the Four Agreements spoke out to me like, just some of the most profound things were like, I remember when I found each of those books, I couldn't just put them down. It was like I had to, like The Way of the Wizard, I read it all in one day when I really didn't need to. And then I continued to keep reading it. Oh. Which I do have a playlist for The Way of the Wizard on here, so you can find that. Yeah, I was thinking about you the other day. Like, I figured you probably been busy. Like, I hadn't, I hadn't seen you in a comment or anything in a while, and then just I hadn't thought about like, reaching out or anything myself. So, I really recommend the Four Agreements. Well, both of them are like, The Way of the Wizard is, it's taught through it's written in the perspective of basically, you're given like kind of a short little story on each lesson. And it's like Merlin, imagine back in, Arthurian days, even if it never happened. They say that it's based on somebody that was real. I don't know. But Merlin teaching Arthur when they're out in the wilderness in the crystal cave after he's raising him. And, each lesson's different. So you'll have like a little bit of like, this weird kind of story of the boy not quite understanding something or why Merlin does things the way he does and how Merlin sees the world. And basically, it's like he's giving the boy a lesson in reality. And then, so you get the story part of it, and then there'll be about the lesson. It's the second part, and then living with the lesson is the third part. Like how by the third, and they're done in like kind of short sections, so pretty easy reading, and it's interesting. It's like and it discusses at the beginning of the book why he's writing it, because he is from India, and he said he was always fascinated from being from India, a place with a lot of sand and sun. He was always fascinated with the Arthurian lore and the countryside of England and all that area over there, Wales and all that, because he was from India. So I believe like his introduction might have actually, even if he had a ghostwriter, I think the introduction is definitely like at least him, true details about his life. But, and you might have heard of Deepak before. There's a few of his books that I liked. It's just that in the past couple of years, like I said, I saw some interviews and I didn't like where it went. I didn't like it because he got pretty like, the people he was talking to were like, I think they were Christian maybe, or Judeo-Christian of some sort. And Deepak was having this he just couldn't get around the concept that somebody couldn't have an open mind to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I realized in that interview that he hasn't came to really know anything about what the true divine consciousness is. Like, if he had, then he wouldn't have been acting the way he did in that interview. So, but hey, he might have just been having a bad day too. But I've seen a couple of things where it was like, I don't know. But I would say, for me, I think in interviews or a live setting, now I think what I was watching was probably a podcast that had been recorded and then, seeing it after the fact. But in a live setting, you're going to get more of what someone's really like. Like even right now, like even though we're not in the same room, being on this live stream is like I don't feel like I'm really any different than when I record a video. But when you're recording a video, there is that option to re-record it, to try it again. Oh, well, I want to add this to it or that. Here, it's like you're going to, like if I get pissed off, you're going to see me get pissed off. If I'm happy, you see me happy. If we're having a good conversation, And it's still early in the day, too. Because it's early in the day because, well, what I was meaning by that was that this is part of me, like Tomcat and I talked about this the other day too, and I've talked about it. Doing these live streams, doing the videos, for me, even though it's not like, now, and I totally understand his point of view. Like, we talked about monetization and stuff. I'm not shooting for that or anything. And I'm so far off from even that being a possibility for my channel. You have to have so many, like, to even be considered, you got to have 4,000 watch hours. And then, like, even just to get super chats, like, I think if I can get 3,000 watch hours in a year's time, then in my live streams, I can have the ability to have freaking super chats and where people can buy super stickers and all that. And, of course, YouTube gets their part and then you get a percentage of it. But yeah, you must believe to receive. Yeah. What I was getting at was I've often questioned myself whether I would want to monetize in the sense of become an ad partner for the YouTube thing, because then you start becoming like, even if you didn't make a lot of money off of it, anything that I could, like, in my opinion, I think if the day came where I had to email, let's say 2 years from now, and it was like, do you want to become part of blah, 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 I would have to really think about it. Because I'm hoping maybe by the end of this year, and I've said that I'm not going to talk about a lot of the ideas that I want to establish, but it's always been something that I would like to do. Is I would like to kind of have a couple of designs to put on a T-shirt and do me, like I could start like a small, like a little bit of a merch store, and people that do want, that would be a way for people to support the channel also, and actually receive something. You know what I mean? They're not just like sending me something. Like they could go into the store, buy a shirt, a sticker, or whatever I create up or have done. Because I figured, because if you become a partner, then you probably, there's more strict guidelines to go by. And then, because someone was talking about, if you go underneath a certain amount of views after you've been monetized, if you don't keep that same quota or something, I don't know, it's like weird. Plus, my purpose for being here is the same as what him and I, or Tom, or we were talking about that the other day. Really, the main purpose I'm doing any of this is I feel that I don't know. I feel like there's something that I'm supposed to say. There's something that I am saying. There is something I'm sharing to the world. And there's a few of you guys out there that are catching it, and it is resonating, and we're having a good repertoire. We're building a community here, So like, I don't really, like when I go into my YouTube studio part, I look at the analytics, but I don't really pay attention to it. It's like I'm not consumed with it. And I think if you become, I would assume if you ever reached, like if I was doing this and it ever reached a point where like, okay, you could make a living at it, God, it just seems like there's a fine line in whether something is, if something you enjoy doing, once it becomes a job, a lot of times it's no fun anymore. Like when I was playing music, and we made music for about 4 years in that band, and we were heading somewhere. We could have ended up being signed and everything, and but our goal wasn't to, all we ever cared about was if we could get music out to the world, and if we could build an audience big enough that would support what we did. We didn't have to be rich off of it. Just if you just made enough money by touring, selling merchandise, and doing what you do, and that you lived at least like you were working a normal, regular job, like you weren't rich, that would be fine for me. The same if as a writer, if I was ever commercially writing, making money writing, I think it wouldn't, like I think I could make money at it and everything, but like I wouldn't want to be a commercial writer in the sense of where you have to keep finding projects and stuff to do. You're kind of a freelancer. If I ever put anything out print wise, it just will do what it does. That's what I'm thinking, is that if the day comes, I'll figure it out when that day comes. It may not ever. But if I was to have the opportunity to maybe, you know what I mean? If I had that email a few years from now and it's like, hey, do you want to become a partner and be ad monetized and all this bullshit? If I've already established a way to generate a little bit of something to put into, because any money that I would make from this, off of merchandise, I'd just put it right back into the thing. It wouldn't be so much like when someone sent them. But right now, you know what I mean? like if I was getting enough, I would just, that's what I did when I was in a band. When we'd play shows, we took the money, we'd split it up, but we didn't make a lot of money. It was like $100 here and there at a show. Split that between 4 people, you know. So yeah, I think that's probably what I would do is not monetize and just continue to just set, like, if by that point, because there's some channels that don't really monetize through their ad, and they just make money off of super chats, and then they have like at some point a couple of sponsors that they just, during a live stream or during a video, you know, you've seen video, they'll plug it. You plug your sponsor, you know, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I remember you saying you thought about starting a channel, and we talked about that one time. You mentioned it in a chat, and we were, because we were talking about, you're not sure what you, like, I think you were talking about, like, you don't know if you'd want to show your face. So, like, you'd have to think about what, I don't know. I know when I started mine, I don't really know what I was doing. I just started it. Even the other 2 channels I had, well, I think the last channel I had before this one, Grey Cloud, the Gift Giving Scribe, I believe that was it. And that's where I was trying to give skateboards away to the community that I lived in at the time. So my video, like the whole purpose of that channel mainly was, I did some unboxings on that channel of stuff I had ordered, you know, some of the skateboard products I got. And then I would order every month when I get paid a few skateboards, like a couple of decks, some wheels and stuff. I'd go out in the community and try to find somebody that was skating and give shit away. But right when I did that, there was a dude that just opened up a shop and a skate park was coming soon. And so I kind of started late on that, and then it wasn't received well. Like a lot of the kids they wanted a free board, but then they wouldn't follow up with what I asked. Like, hey, could you like keep in touch or send me some pictures of you skating or a video, or can we meet up by, you know, trying to document like, but that's just fine. And I posted a few videos there of me playing in the basement, my drums there. It's in North Carolina. Hey, Mila. Peyton was here earlier. I don't know. It's strange how this thing works. Tomcat and I was talking about this the other day. We were talking about, yeah, you were at the bar. Okay. Yeah, I almost posted on your little short where it showed the beach or something. I almost said, that ain't the bar. It's a running joke, though. We know that. I like that, though. Yeah. But you showed a video, wasn't it? It wasn't a little short, I think, yesterday, Mila. I don't know if it was yesterday. It might have been up for a while, but I seen a short, and I wanted to say you were showing, it showed water or a beach. I thought you were, anyway. And that's when I was going to like, but then I was like, you know, because I don't think it's appropriate for me. I try to be appropriate if I can be. And I talked about this the other day. Like, if I ever think I'm going to go live and it's going to get like, if I ever have a stream that I know there's going to be a few people on, and it, like the other morning, I was in somebody else's stream and we were all over the place. Like there was 4 other people there plus me, and everybody, we were just like having fun and talking, and a lot of like banter, a lot of cussing, and and joking and stuff like that. And like depending on because some people that I follow or see can sometimes be some people like some people that I follow or even sub to, some of their channel, like they're not intentionally really being mean, but sometimes they're like snide and they're like, they have that cynical sense of humor. So like some people, you know what I mean? Like, they push the boundaries. They'll say just about anything. So like, that's where I think if I was gonna, and I'm not talking about like other day stream. I'm talking about like some people that I follow on X and stuff, and then they have channels, and they just sometimes they like some of their live streams are always like restricted because it's like all like adult type, like not adult content, but they're just like talking about anything and everything, and you don't want like you don't want the chance of someone coming in and like someone coming into an inappropriate conversation and stuff, and then you get like, I wouldn't want that. I hope I just felt like being solo today, like right now. I figured if someone showed up here and well, right now everything's going pretty good. We might probably sometime now, depending on what goes on over the weekend. Probably sometime over the weekend, I may try to do a StreamYard video, or I mean a live stream, so we can have. I might do one where I'll do it and then post a link into the chat after I get it going, and if people are interested in showing up or want to be on the, like talk for a minute, might do that. Or I might actually just set something up with somebody ahead of time, like the other day when me and Tomcat talked. Now, when lockdown came on, I had done a live stream like I'm doing right now. I was on for like an hour and something. Lockdown was in the chat, Lockdown Productions. And heck, he was like, well, I wouldn't mind I'd come on there if you, and I said, well, why don't I end this? And then I'll come back on in about 5 minutes through StreamYard. And then I'll post a link in the, and then that's how he came on. And we did another. So I ended the stream that I was doing through the YouTube app, which was a little over an hour. We restarted and went another hour on StreamYard. Well, it's just, I'm trying to learn how, for future preference, as we go more into the year. So what you're seeing is me putting into action some of the plans I have for the channel, which is basically learning how to be able to maneuver when I want to have, like, for instance, a few months from now, when I have learned a little more about the StreamYard, also, I want to attempt one time or two, through the YouTube app, I can share the link with another creator and go live with one other person through the YouTube app. And that's the only amount of people you can do it like that. With StreamYard, I can have up to 6 people. So, and that's with the free service. So, so I want to experiment with both things. And then there's also Streamlabs. I believe Streamlabs is basically, from what I understand, you still only get 20 hours a month free on their free plan for streaming. I think it's the same amount of guests that you have, like, ability to have on. And then, and I think you have the ability to stream, I think both of those different platforms you have to pay if you want to try to multi-stream. Like if I'd been streaming long enough where I had a really sufficient audience on several platforms, and there was if there was some sort of income coming in on it, then that would, to me, that would, if it was paying for itself, let's say, then it would be probably a good idea to pay for the service. So I'd have unlimited hours. I could stream to X, YouTube. I could stream to the Rumble if I had the Rumble going. I could stream to wherever else at the time that I wanted to put myself there. What I thought about doing is, I was sharing this earlier. Let me check the time real quick too. Okay. Not that I have anything particular I have to do. The ever-present Christ. Let's see. There's a power called Spirit, or the Christ, and it does the work. Talking about the Christ will not bring God or the Christ to bear upon your problem. The Christ must be realized, must be felt. Then we really can say, I can leave it with God. I can leave it with truth. As we become convinced within our consciousness of the truth, that conviction, which is realization, makes the demonstration. That's when the Master speaks. That's the next chapter I'm about to start into. And I had shared a little bit of this earlier. And then I shared a little bit of it. I shared a little bit of it on X. And then I shared a little bit of this, I think, at the beginning of this stream. I want to say I did, and I might not have. But I get what this is saying. Because it's like I've always thought, there's a lot of people that memorize every word in the Bible or every word of some spiritual script type book, whether it be Christian based, or I'm sure there's, in all religions, there's people that way. I imagine in the Muslim religion, Hindu, there's probably people, hey, Zabi Zep, I hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. That's our friend from Hungary. You doing all right, Zabi? Yeah, but what I was saying is, I've often felt that. You're not doing too good, Zabi? Well, let me stop here and if you need to, well, I almost thought about putting some socks on. Well, I thought I'd take a pot. If I'm sorry to hear that. I wasn't doing so well the past. There was a couple of days that I was a little off myself, but today, obviously, I'm in a much better. Like yesterday, I didn't do any kind of stream. I just got up and did my normal video and stuff. Right, Zabi, and you don't have to explain exactly your whatever. Sometimes, now I know that one day that you came in, it was right after your grandmother had died. So I do know certain things, but if there's any, but we'll keep you. Oh, you ain't been around in a while, have you, Zabi? The puppies have been gone for a while. But my 2 dogs are still here, and hopefully everything works out soon. Yeah, Nature Girl, I don't know if you've seen a video or anything, but I've mentioned over this past week, I had an incident where the people that live across the street from where the trailer park is in the new house on that corner evidently had a package delivered to their porch, and it was a $200 pair of shoes, supposedly. My 2 dogs must have got the package off the porch, and then I guess destroyed, or they tore into the package and it destroyed They must have chewed on the shoes because the dude showed up, and now he wasn't like being rude or nothing to me, but we've had a issue before. There was another dog here that wasn't my dog or anybody else's. Well, it was somebody's, but it tried to snap and bite at his lawnmower person. So that was the first time I'd ever interacted with him. Then my dog, Ladybird, I don't know if you were following the channel when she killed a rooster or a chicken last year. Well, she didn't kill it. It was still alive. But I had to go over there that morning and try to... and the chickens had been there, and they hadn't had a fence or nothing around. The only reason that Ladybird had brought that chicken into my yard is all these stray dogs that were running around. There was 5 or 6 stray dogs that had been left here. They had, at some point they were running over there. They initiated the attack, and that's how I figured Ladybird got involved. And then she had one of the birds out in the... So it wasn't all her fault. You got a new dog, Zobby. Okay, cool. What I was going to say is, so what I'm trying to do is figure out, now somebody the other day, when I was outside at the stop sign, stopped and asked me what I might need, and I said, well, really, I could use a couple of collars for 2 dogs. And then she's like, how big are they? I told them about how size they were. And I said, I could use an extra cable. I said, I've got one cable that'll work, but I need another cable. Like, I can't put them both on the same cable. So she took my name and number, and she is part of a... Oh, okay. Froggy Boy. And it's a girl? That's cool. That's really cool. But I guess what I'm saying is I haven't heard from those people yet. The lady works, she's part of a program for some church around here in this area, and they do outreach. Like, she saw me out there at the stop sign when my son said anything else. She came back to see what I might need. Like, I imagine maybe if I'd been like, well, I need food and I need clothes, I might have heard something already. I don't know. But she wrote it down. She's like, so 2 collars for like 2 medium-sized dogs and a cable or a chain. And I said, yeah, if somebody can help out, man. So she's like, well, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to turn it into my supervisor. Like, whoever's in charge of the program for the church, that she don't run the program, but she's part of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you sometimes take care of it, don't you? Our object is to develop this awareness, this consciousness of truth. Oh, okay. Oh. So maybe that's why you're not feeling so well, is what you're saying, huh, Zobby? That would explain. So I could kind of, whether, are you talking about a physical fight? You got in a physical fight? Or just a really horrendous, I don't know, display of words? Because even if it's not a physical fight, oh, okay. Okay, I got you. But you get what I was saying. Sometimes we can get in things that don't become physical altercations, but it's such a mental, stressful altercation. It can take a lot out of us, even more so than a physical altercation sometimes. Okay, Nature Girl, take it easy. I may be back on. I might be on here for a little while longer. If you come back and see me, feel free. If I'm already off here, it's good talking to you. Uh, I'm trying to determine. I might do something tonight, this evening. I don't know. There's a lot of streams that go on Friday nights that I like to watch, so I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think if I do something tonight or this evening, then I might do the StreamYard. Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to, remember? Do you remember that, Zombie? I didn't ban. No, wait, did I? What did I? Why did I? Refresh my memory. I remember that I thought, I think I remember what you're talking about. Why did I? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what do you, I didn't mean to ban you, did I? Like, I don't think I meant to ban you. I was thinking it was a mistake. Is that what you're talking about? Was it that somebody had said something in the chat and somebody had said something in the chat that they were trying to, like, I guess, be mean to me? And then I think I was trying to either I was trying to time them out or do something, and somehow I timed you out or blocked. Yeah, I remember. It's either that or there's been a few times people have came in the chat and tried to be funny and it not bother me, but a few of you guys have came in and like told them to stop and all that, and I'm like, I have to. Yeah, it was an accident. I don't think I know that I did because I told you I didn't mean to do that, if I remember correctly. Like after I did it, I was like, oh, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that. And once you do that, like once you do it, I didn't know how to undo it. Like I don't know if there's a way to. Oh, that's cool. Hey, how old is your son? Well, you don't have to say. That's personal information. Sorry. Don't you don't have to say all that. But oh, okay. Well, I just realized some people aren't comfortable with talking like that. But you brought up your child, so I figured it's not gonna like if you tell me if he's old enough to be there actually watching with you. I figured he was somewhere around anywhere from old enough to have his he can pay attention. Like at certain ages, kids are still like not really. We have only to maintain ourselves in that atmosphere of the Spirit for that flow to come through, the flow of divine life. When we are confronted with problems, then it is necessary to get back within ourselves until we get that feeling of the presence. That's where I'm at today, guys. So, Zombie, what are you saying, frog? Yeah, we might do like I said, I may decide because I might come on again a little later this evening, and I might try, but I'm not sure. When we end this stream, and I don't know when I'll end it just yet. Like I'm enjoying you guys, whoever's here watching, whoever's talking to me. Uh, Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Now I don't know why it hit that message. It must have picked it up like it was a cuss word. I see that A B C D E F G H I J K. Was that your yeah. I'm trying to get it where it would show that it says another moderator handled it, and I don't see it showing the. It should let me show it if I want to show it. So I don't understand that. I mean, there could be some, like, it is possible someone I have as a moderator is watching and they're not. No big deal. It's evening time there, isn't it? Like, oh, thanks. I'm waiting on a shirt that I ordered last month, and it's through my friend's Teespring store, and evidently they said I think at the end of January, beginning of February, they had like some kind of problem. The Teespring company, and they changed print people that print for them, and they're just now catching up with everything. So they like I finally had emailed them, and they couldn't tell me. They couldn't tell me when I might be able to get the. Hey, David, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, today's going a lot better than See, yeah, like yesterday was not so bad, but I had to recuperate and just kind of like rest most of yesterday. I didn't really do anything, didn't stream or anything. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, David. Rindor Academia. I don't know that show. Is that show is that a show from your country, or is that a show would be able that's is that an anime? Is that a it almost sounds like it could be like a anime or something. Let me stand up for a minute. I've been sitting down for too long, guys. Oh. 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 Oh, it's a 1990 film. Oh, okay. I figured I'd show y'all the outside for a minute. Well, oh, it's pretty nice out here today. I've got to get, okay, so the point is the neighbors that live across the street, they mentioned something about, when I was telling you about what they had to come and tell me about them shoes and stuff, and it all like happened so quick that evening that, we talked for a minute. Sorry to bore you, but I was just going to kind of, it reminded me because my dog's laying there. Basically, he doesn't want to hurt the dogs, but if they continue, like if they come on his property and damage anything or act in any kind of way, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'll either have to get rid of them or find a way to put them up. And I haven't yet, so basically I'm waiting for a phone call maybe from a church that might be able to bring me a couple of collars and a cable that for one of the dogs. And if they get in touch with me before my payday, because I still have over a week before I get paid again. So I wouldn't be able to get the stuff myself. Even if I go out there and hold my sign, now, if I was to get blessed enough, I could probably go do it. But normally when I go do that out there, I'm not usually coming up with more than like 10 or 20 bucks. Like I'm not like trying to, I usually know what I need for the day if I'm broke and I got to do that. I hope you didn't leave there. I'm going to have to look up that show maybe. So is it a film or a TV show? It says Rendor Academia. I'm trying to make a mental note to maybe remember that, to see what it, look it up online and look at, it's in Alaska. Okay. But what I was saying is, my hopes is that maybe the church that lady is from, it's only been about 3 days ago that she took my number. So I'm hoping maybe soon, because for right now, my dogs are still running around free, and that means they can possibly end up on someone's property, and someone, we live out in the middle of nowhere in the country. You get dogs on your property that are messing with your animals or your property. I don't blame anybody if they shoot them. I don't want them shot, but I'm trying to figure out where my other dog is. So, Zombie, did you get your bag back? Well, you said he stole it. But I was thinking, did he, there's my other girl. Bruno Fernandez. I'm trying to think what I need to do here, maybe in the next little bit. I'm trying to think of Bruno. Oh no, I don't need to take it out. I slept pretty good last night, and then yesterday I'd felt kind of the day before yesterday I'd gotten sick twice. I did do a couple strings though, but I'd gotten sick. So yesterday I'd spent most of the day in the bed, not necessarily sleeping, but I laid around so much. And then today, when I did go to sleep, I finally slept pretty good. And I woke up today just feeling a lot better than I felt in several days. And then I had like 3 cups of coffee or 4 this morning. I want to say maybe 3, but I drank them so quick it got me a little nauseous for a minute, and then I ended up eating, so I felt better. And well, what I'm trying to think about is, as I'm walking around here, y'all don't know what I'm looking at, but I'm looking and kind of gauging on what it is I want to do. Like if I end the stream, I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do after this? If I'm not doing any chores or anything, I want to be doing something other than being online. Like I want to try to not go online and watch any YouTube or anything until. Oh, you gotta go. Okay. Oh. No, I'm not leaving yet, but if you got to go, I understand. What I'm actually about to do is I'm going to put a little something in this bowl here and put it in the microwave and heat it up. Then I'm going to sit down while I'm and kind of eat and talk for a minute with you guys. So, no, I understand what you were saying. I'm just thinking ahead because I've been on here for like a little over an hour. And I do know that at some point I will end the stream, and especially if I think I might come back on in a few hours. Like if I think I might go live in a little while. Like I don't want to promise it to anybody. Like I don't want to say I am or not, but when I end all I was getting at is I'm just thinking ahead when I wrap this particular stream up, I'm just thinking, okay, because what I've been doing today is I have done a little bit of cleaning. Not that anybody really cares. But, I've done I changed my sheet on my bed, swept my room, swept the kitchen floor here, this living room. I got myself cleaned up today, like actually washed up and stuff after a few days of being kind of grimy. And that made me feel better too. And, but what I've done other than I did a stream earlier today on the YouTube channel. I've done a few streams on my ex Twitter profile. And then from there, I've done a little bit of reading for myself. And I've also listened to a little music earlier. Like when I was cleaning, I had my headphones on and listened to some bluegrass and stuff. Bluegrass gospel. It'll be my luck. What I hate is sometimes I'll decide that, sometimes I'll be like, I'm about to get off here, and then like 2 or 3 people will show up. I don't hate that, but if I'm thinking I'm going to get off and a few people show up and are being active in the chat, if I don't have nothing that's making me have to end it, then I'm going to stay a little bit longer, like as long as you're here right now. Unless something just comes up. It'd be more like if I end this anytime soon, it'll be probably more after like I eat or something. I was going to sit down and just kind of munch out a little bit and continue the stream for a minute. And we might walk to the mailbox in a minute and I don't know. I haven't seen Lockdown Productions in a few. Oh wait. I like how you typed that. That came out in your language, didn't it? A walk with my dog. So it'll either be, when I do get off this stream, I'll probably I might take a walk. I might sit on my porch and just do a little reading and may practice a little more drawing. I've been I'd realized this week, I really kind of started off pretty consistently every day, trying to make a point to do a little bit of drawing practice. And then I noticed that over the past several days back, I kind of didn't really put forth the effort that I had been. So today I kind of messed around with it a little again. But what I also got to think about, I'm thinking about, I've still got plenty of battery right now, but boom, 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 boom. Now, I mean, so yeah, Zombie, if you're still watching, I said, so the guy, you got in the fight. I can't remember if you said, so was you jumped, or when they grabbed the bag, you resisted, and then that's how the fight happened? And then my question is, did you retrieve your bag? Did they get away with your bag? What's the law involved? That's really... I think the important thing is you're alive. You're still here. You're there with your son. And I don't know if you're still there or not. It's showing 0 people now for me. Like, it's showing up like I only have, okay, there's one of my, I try not to pay attention to that because I don't think it's accurate most of the time. There's sometimes it'll show 0 and there's still 2 or 3 people in the chat talking. And then sometimes it'll show 4 or 5 people and then nobody's talking. And then it'll be like, it fluctuates. A lot of it might be because I'm on data. I'm straight off the phone. Like probably if I had a Wi-Fi connection that worked pretty good. Like not off my data. Well, my data is unlimited, but if I had Wi-Fi streamlined into this trailer and I was on it, I might have a better, like my counter might pick up better. Probably trying to think what I might, if I need to make anything tonight. I've still got a little bit of this stuff left, but I think I might have another bowl or 2 of this. But let's wrap this one up. Zombie, if you're still seeing this, maybe one day you'll catch one of my streams when I'm coming through the StreamYard and, allowing other people to come on and visit, like on the screen with me. Like I said, I might do that this evening, but I don't know yet. I'm gonna kind of like once we end this, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna kind of just pace myself, and then decide what. And I might talk to somebody and see what they're doing. And for all I know, there could be someone ask me later to come onto their show or something. So, I was trying to think. I wish you the best. If anybody is still watching, I wish everybody the best. It's been a great stream. This one's been just as good as the earlier one. I did one that was a little over 30 minutes earlier today. Betty Spaghetti was there. There was a couple people watching, but Betty was in the chat. And we had a really good, deep conversation. And I've really enjoyed this chat. I've enjoyed everybody that showed up. And we've had a lot of good, I think I hate that some people have had, like I had a few bad days. It sounds like some of us, other of us had, especially I understand Zombie's bad day was worse than my bad day. I wouldn't want to have to go through that kind of stuff. But y'all, if you don't see me rest of the day, it's because I've decided that, like, all I know is right now I'm on the brink of thinking, my brain's kind of turning, and if my energy is still like it is in a few hours, like it is now, if I still have the same kind of energy in a few hours, it's a very big possibility I could plan to do something later. And if I do, I'll try to schedule it and announce it a little ahead of time. Might not be long, but at least, schedule it, put it up 10, 15, 20 minutes ahead of time, and maybe people will catch it. But you know how we end it here? Over and out. Grey Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment. Ditto.